Episode 2 of The Cuddy Show. I sit down with Derek Schooley, first and presumptive second head coach of Robert Morris men's hockey program. It is currently suspended and fundraising to attempt to come back for the 2021-22 season. If you can donate 20, 50, $500,000, please consider. I'll post a link to the fundraising site in the description of this video. Coach and I sat down and talked about bringing the program back, recruiting, coaching, all things hockey in the area. Coach, don't you think it was a great interview? So dive right in here. What's the status update? What's the outlook on bringing the hockey programs back to Robert Morris?
Well, I mean, right now we've got a lot of positive momentum. We've had some really good weeks. I think our site that people can follow up online is we're over $900,000. We need a $1.4 million goal. We do have some other offline gifts that will get us right up there as well. But I really think that we're doing a pretty good job, and I'm optimistic of where we're at.
Great. I mean, no one's more qualified than you to build this program. What really makes you want to stick around and rebuild this program again?
Well, it's my baby, and I started it obviously in 2003, and obviously I've got a soft spot for Pittsburgh. I mean, how could you not be in love with the city, with the friendly people? I mean, you got the Steelers jersey on today. I mean, it's a great place to live and raise a family. So we're committed to being here and trying to get this back and going. And are there going to be opportunities potentially to go other places? Yeah, I'm sure there will. But I really like this program. I think that we can make it successful again. It's another new challenge as we move forward here.
As far as hockey goes in Pittsburgh, I mean, Crosby was drafted in 05. The Penguins went to the Cup in 07, 08 season. Have you seen kind of the youth of that era coming into recruiting age in the past few years? Have you seen a boom since the success of the pro team and overall hockey in the area?
Yeah, I mean, the Pittsburgh hockey has been outstanding from when the Pittsburgh Hornets were going as their AAA program to now Pittsburgh Penguins Elite. You've got numerous other different programs that have done an outstanding job. The S-Mark Stars. You've got the Pittsburgh Vengeance. You've got the Icemen. I mean, you name it. There's a team for it if you want to play hockey. And there's more college players coming out of Pittsburgh than ever. And that's the one thing that's really exciting about Pittsburgh. And we've always had 4 or 5 players from Pittsburgh every year. And with that, we've had some really good ones. We've had 2 captains in Colin South and Brendan Jameson, both from Pittsburgh. And Colin grew up playing in the Arctic Foxes organization, Quaker Valley High School, and then the Pittsburgh Hornets. Brendan Jameson grew up, I think he played at Shadyside for a little bit. He played for the Pittsburgh Predators. He played at S-Mark. I mean, these are quality people, and you want to keep the best people at home. And we've been able to keep the best local Pittsburgh kids at home. We haven't got them all. There's been a few that have snuck through our fingers, but with the growth of Pittsburgh hockey, you want to keep you want to be involved in all the best players.
So when you're recruiting, obviously hockey's much different than recruiting any of the other sports with the way the juniors are set up, the way that the youth programs are set up. They're not going through schools. Obviously you haven't recruited for other sports, but do you think that is more of a challenge, or do you think it's a little bit easier to recruit than going to high school games?
Well, I've talked to women's hockey coaches, and they come straight. There's no junior hockey. There's a gap year that they're taking for U19, but there's no junior hockey. So I think you're dealing with an older, more mature individual who goes away and plays junior hockey. They've usually been away from home. They've usually experienced things. They've already experienced the homesick aspect. They've got a few of those things out of the way. They're motivated, they're focused. So I think that we've got a little bit of our school, our students in school have consistently had over our team GPA has been over a 3.5. And I bring that to the fact of they're not going through the same problems that a typical freshman would be going through. And I think that helps you, and it allows you to be a little bit different than other sports. And I think that's why one of the reasons why we've got the ability to win in hockey, how we can beat a Michigan. Michigan had the best 18 and 19-year-olds. They had Zach Wawinski and Kyle Connor on the team, who are stars in the NHL right now with Columbus and Winnipeg, and we shut them out in their building. We had a group of 10 seniors that were all about 25 years old, and they were 18-year-old freshmen, and they were really, really good. But we had man strength, and they had still growing boy strength, and that allowed us to beat a Michigan on the road. That allowed us to beat a Miami when they were number one, and those things are things that you can hang your hat on, not only for the hockey program but for the university.
So when you talk about recruiting for not just the local area, but if you look at the map of college programs, there's not many that are further south than Pittsburgh. You're not in a hotbed like in the Northeast or anything, but do you think that's an advantage as hockey kind of grows in the South, that your program is kind of closest to home for those kids as well?
Well, I think, yeah, you try to use whatever advantage you can get. And, I think with that, we want to try to figure out the best way to get a player, whether if they're from someplace that has a same type of geography or same type of hills and mounts that Pittsburgh has. You try to sell each person a little bit different. But, obviously we have had players from all over, from border to border, from Eastern Canada, Western Canada, from Eastern United States to as far west as you can go, as far south as you can go. We've had our all-time leading scorers from Dallas, Texas, our all-time leading goal scorers from Detroit. Our all-time leading, our guy who's second in points is from Pittsburgh. But one of our fourth guys from California, who grew up playing roller hockey. So just look at those four guys as top guys. And then our fifth is right outside of Toronto. So you've got Pittsburgh, you got Dallas, you got California, and you got right outside of Toronto. I mean, we're from all over. We're coast to coast, border to border in both United States and Canada. And we even had our first Cuban American last year, who was our leading scorer, in Randy Hernandez.
So you just moving over towards the women's side, because right now you've been named pretty much the director of both programs. I see you brought in, I guess, probably the most renowned player in RMU history in Brienne. Is there anything moving forward with who's going to take over that team? God willing that the whole program comes back?
Well, that's not my decision, but there's a lot of good candidates out there. We've got a lot of quality alums in coaching. As assistant coaches, we've had a good group of coaches that were here previously. We've got some former players that have shown some interest in coaching too. So I'm sure that if we can get these programs back, Chris King will have a handful of former Colonials to choose from if you want to go the alum direction. I mean, I'm sure I've been on the search committee for the previous three coaches, and I'm sure my opinion will be asked, but that'll be a challenging decision because there are a lot of good Colonials out there in the Colonial family.
When you got into coaching, was that something you kind of saw yourself doing, or just something that popped up at the end of your playing career?
Well, I wanted to stay in the game, and I really enjoyed coaching. I did it in the summer while I was playing. I worked hockey schools and hockey camps. I really wanted to continue being involved in the game. So I figured the best way to do it is to get into coaching. I really like the recruiting aspect. I really like the team aspect. I mean, being able to pick and choose your players and then put it together and mold them into a team, and you're still around the hockey locker room a little bit, because that's really what you miss. And when I was 27 when I started, and obviously you still wanted to think that you were a player, you couldn't play anymore. I knew when I was on 4 teams in 1 year that it was time to retire. But I really believe that's a challenge, is putting the pieces of a team together and being able to get exactly what you want and know what you need and go out and get it. And we felt we needed a little bit more scoring. Before last year, we went out and got Jordan Timmons, a Pittsburgh kid who scored a lot in junior hockey, but did not score at UConn. And Jordan ended up coming in and scoring double digits in goals for us. And we knew that we needed this year to get a little bit more mobile on the blue line after graduating Nick Jenny. So we went out. Well, we got a couple of defensemen that we thought were really going to help us. So I think that's the neat thing, is to be able to put the pieces of the puzzle together and then see it develop into a championship team. And you could have the best players in the world, but then you also then have to develop your culture. And I think that's the most important thing, is to be able. That's the buzzword right now in sports, is culture. But there isn't anything more important than how your team gets along. It used to be how everybody got along as friends. Now the word's culture, and you have to have everybody on the same page and bought into what you're trying to accomplish.
Let's see. Let's move on here. Kind of sticking with some of the younger kids. You have a huge kind of tournament area down there on Neville Island. There's been some rumors about it possibly being purchased, or maybe you guys moving up to the UPMC Center in Cranberry. Do you have any idea what's going to happen with your home rink?
Well, we've talked. There has been discussions between Robert Morris and the Pittsburgh Penguins about partnering in the third sheet building of a new arena there, which would house our program, but probably anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 seat arena. And there has been some conversations. There were conversations leading up to when they dropped our program, and I think part of us coming back would be hopefully being able to partner with the Penguins again and being involved in that. But those are decisions that are made at much higher levels than me. I'm just I'm kind of the low man on the totem pole when it comes to that. But that's kind of part of what we would like to be accomplished if the programs come back. That being said, I know the university has no interest of getting rid of the Island Sports Center at Neville Island, because there's just so many good things that come out of that with youth hockey and the Arctic Foxes and the Learn to Play programs with Blaine Butterbaugh and the Island Colonials and the summer camps. And Dave Hansen, obviously from the Hansen brothers, runs it. So I don't see there being them trying to get rid of that building. There may be us playing in another building though.
Okay. Do you see kind of after this rebuild staying with Robert Morris until the end, or do you have different aspirations for your career?
Well, I don't know what my end is. That's my problem. I don't know if I've got an expiration date as far as where I'm at. I'm 51. I've got 3 kids that are in high school. I think I still probably got a good 15, at least 15 years left in me in coaching and being a part of athletic programs. I think I still have the enthusiasm and passion. I think I can relate to the younger players. I think I've evolved as a coach a lot. So I've got no interest of getting out of the business at this time, but where my future takes me, that'll depend on, if we still have a program here, if how well we do, all that kind of stuff. But I'm committed to being in Pittsburgh. I like I said earlier, I love the city. I love Moon Township. I mean, we're both Moon Township residents. How nice the people are here, and I'm excited just to continue trying to start the program back up again.
Yeah, I mean, it's great having, I have two young kids, and it's really great to be able to take them down to watch some hockey and not pay NHL ticket prices for kids that can't keep their attention more than 5 minutes. But
Well, I will make sure that if we're back, that the first comp tickets are on me. That's for sure.
great, I appreciate it. You're on a podcast, U.S. College Hockey Online. How'd that get started, and how's that going?
You know what? I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying being on the other side of, I've tried it. As the years gone on, as years have gone on, I've become friends with all the media. Obviously, I know all the Pittsburgh media. I know the National College Hockey media, and I was looking for a way to stay relevant in this off season, and I had dinner with Phil Bork and Swickley, and we talked about how it was hard for him to get back into hockey after he retired it, and it took him a couple of years. And I wanted to make sure that whether Robert Morris was back or not, I wanted to make sure that I was still out there, because I'm not done coaching, and I wasn't going to go anywhere this year. It happened so late. I'm still under contract and still working for Robert Morris, so I was here for this year no matter what. But I wanted to stay in the game, and I talked to the people at USCHO, and they were really good at coming up with adding me to their weekly podcast, and it's been fun. I started off slow at first. I was talking to coaches, but I didn't really want to be, I wouldn't say controversial, but I didn't want to say anything bad, because these are my peers and some of them are my friends. And I think I've evolved in the first 2 months here now, where I'm now figuring out how to creatively, I wouldn't say rip them, but creatively say they could be doing a better job, or, I'm not a yes man with my other two, with Ed and Jimmy on the podcast, but I've had nothing but, and I know Ed and Jimmy, and nothing but success. So who knows? Maybe I'll be you. Maybe I'll start my own podcast and be like you. But I'm enjoying it. I know that I look forward to every Monday. I really, really dislike Friday and Saturday nights now, because those are the nights we would play. So this keeps me in checking out the scores and looking at what's going on. Or I don't know what I'd be probably pounding my head off the wall if I didn't have this to try to keep me into it.
You think kind of being more of a observer and analyst will have an effect on the way you approach coaching when the team starts back up?
You know what? I'll have more patience with the media. That's for sure. We've had some really good media here at Robert Morrison in Pittsburgh. I think, I think it will help me to be more analytical in what I'm doing, but I think I can now look at it more from the other side. I mean, I got some really irritating questions sometimes when in my 18 years. The one that sticks out is, you were down 1 with 2 minutes to go, and you pulled the goalie, and they scored an empty net goal. Why would you ever pull your goalie to give them a free shot at the net? I mean, I could tell that my body language was bad in looking back on this, but I just said next question. And I probably would have had a little bit more patience to educate the reporter, because it was a student, and they were just, I don't think they had any idea. I mean, anybody knows that if you're down a goal with 2 minutes left, you're going to pull your goalie. We did give an empty net goal, but so I think I'll have a little bit more patience with the media from here on out, because now that I've been on the other side, I will say this: the coaches in college hockey have been outstanding to be when I've called them and asked them stuff, because now they know that I will tell them that I'm calling to ask for stuff for the podcast. So I'm kind of figuring out how to get sources too.
Kind of going in an offshoot in those goalie pulling, we've seen now in the NHL, it used to be kind of down a goal within 2 minutes, down 2 goals within 3 minutes. Now we're starting to see, down 3 goals, people are pulling their goalie around 5 minutes. Are you thinking that's going to keep going, or is that just a little fad that's going to get washed out?
Well, I'll tell you this. I used to, my rule was a minute 30, and this is when I started, a minute 30 down 1, 3 minutes down 2. I started to go into 2 minutes down 1 and about 3:30 down 2. I will tell you this, we played Niagara, which not this past COVID year, the year before that, they pulled the goalie with 9 minutes left. They were down 4. And we literally iced the puck trying to hit the empty net. I mean, you're down 4. You get under pressure 6-on-5, you ice the puck, no big deal. Like literally, we could not hit an empty net from 180 feet for 9 minutes. They scored once, and then we scored the empty net goal. We ended up still winning by 4. We scored the empty net goal with like 40 seconds left. But there must have been 9, 10 icings. And this game took, I mean, the last 9 minutes of the game must have took a half hour. And I was like, well, somebody just put them out of their misery, please, and hit the empty net. So I'm not into pulling the goalie when I'm down more than 2. My big thing is I'll talk to my team and say, especially at media timeouts, I would say, let's get another one, get within 2, and give ourselves a chance to pull the goalie. Maybe I'll change. Maybe watching from a distance will allow me to pull the goalie earlier. I will say, this is from my media, or I would have probably never known this. I had to research Clarkson and Cornell from this past week, and Clarkson was down 4-0 with right about 5 minutes to go, pulled the goalie, and they ended up scoring 4 times in the last 5 minutes to tie the game. But then they lost in overtime. But they did get the extra point out of it, and they did pull the goalie with 5 minutes to go, down 4. So I don't know. It's 1 in a million, but I guess that makes a great story down the road.
Yeah. When you mentioned media timeouts, when you're not a very televised kind of venue or event, have you looked into, or has the school or the program looked into different ways to be broadcasting and kind of getting the coverage out there to more fans?
Well, we obviously were under contract with an Atlantic Hockey, use Flow Hockey, and we would have 1 media timeout per period. But I do know that there was negotiations with the CW to start getting Robert Morris Sports on CW, and I think basketball actually is on this year, and I think they might actually be on Saturday, might be their first game on TV. But I think the biggest problem that any sport really has at Robert Morris is we're fighting in hockey, you fight the Penguins for coverage. In basketball, you fight Pitt, you fight Duquesne, you fight, there's a massive logjam of sports there. In football, you're fighting the Steelers, you're fighting Duquesne, you're fighting Pitt. So I really think that to get media coverage, you've got to differentiate yourself. And at Robert Morris, we've got the ability in college hockey. We're one of 60 teams. And if you look at some of the national champions over the last couple of years, these are schools that are small schools. Union College won a national championship. Minnesota Duluth won 2 national championships. And to be able to get more media attention, you've got to differentiate yourself. And they were able to do that at Union College and Minnesota Duluth. And our women's team has done an outstanding job getting to the NCAA tournament. They were in the final 8 of the NCAA tournament. They were 3 games away from winning a national championship. And, those things really help the profile of the university.
Now you're kind of doing a little scouting for the women's side now. Are you seeing kind of a difference in the way you have to look at those players? Or are you seeing a different form of development in the women's programs?
Well, I think they're completely different games. I think you have to be able to, I was fortunate to see Minnesota play Colgate 2 weekends ago in Nashville. I was there with my daughter for a tournament and watched what is number uh, I think Colgate's number 5 right now, and Minnesota's number 4. This is a national championship preview, and it was fast, it was exciting, and it was able to show me a little bit of what you're looking at, but they're completely different games. And men are bigger, stronger, because they're just bigger by nature. And the women is more of a speed game. There's less physicality because there's no checking. So they're completely different. And everybody thinks, well, it's hockey, it's the same, but it's not. In hockey and junior hockey, you get fights, and women, you don't have that. And there's a lot of differences in the two. And I was really impressed with how the college hockey game was and I saw 2 top 10 teams going at it. And I've watched Robert Morris's women, and they've had some really good players. And you go down the list of players like Brittany Howard and JC Gebhardt and Rebecca Vint, and they're really good. And obviously we talked about Brienne Mclaughlin before, but Brienne, when she was training for the Olympics, practiced with us, and she was just as fast as our other goalies. The difference was our other goalies were 6'1" and she was 5'7", and it was tough for her battling against men in front of the net comparatively too. And she would have been an outstanding men's goalie because of her quickness. But there's just differences. It's a different sport, and I really like watching women's hockey, and it's fun. It's fun seeing it from a different side, because my recruiting for women's hockey would be much different than recruiting for men's hockey.
Now, with going back to the fundraising and all that stuff, you've obviously had Brett Kiesel and Ryan Malone pushing really
unbelievable hard. Yes, good. Yeah, they've been outstanding. But sorry to cut you off, but I just light up when it comes to those guys. So today's Thursday. Dropping tomorrow is a massive video, 11-minute video that shows, you've seen some snippets of some takes of them on online right now, but tomorrow the whole video drops tomorrow. It's outstanding.
I did see the preview where you guys got Brett Kiesel with the old loose cap on the water bottle.
That was Ryan Malone.
Malone, yeah.
They brought him. Yeah, Ryan got him. I brought him in to talk to him. We were filming a scene on the bench with me and Ryan's dad, Bugsy, the original Bugsy, Greg Malone. We're going to talk to him, and Ryan got him with the old loose cap. But it was they got him good, and I knew that I knew it was coming, so it was fun to watch. The unbelievable people between Neil Walker, Sean Swees, and Brett Kiesel, the on the bench guys. What good quality people, and I'm excited. I have not seen the whole 11-minute video. I've just watched the trailer. Obviously, I lived the video. I was there of the making of it. But to see, there's going to be some cameos from Jay Caulfield, Craig Patrick, Brian Trottier, Sidney Crosby. I haven't seen any of that, so I'm excited to see this tomorrow as well.
Oh, that sounds great. Is there anything coming down as far as, obviously the Penguins are looking out for you guys? Are the Steelers and Pirates organizations kind of doing anything to help you guys along?
Well, Kevin Colbert's a trustee was a trustee at Robert Morris, and is a big hockey fan. He has been a tremendous fan and friend of the program for years, and I can't say enough good things about Kevin. And he's given us jerseys. I mean, you've got a Watt jersey on right now, I believe. I don't know everybody. You got a Watt jersey, and yep, there you go. You got a Watt jersey on. I mean, in our auction that we just had, we had a TJ Watt jersey, and Kevin got us that. He's been outstanding. And Travis Williams with the Pirates. He used to be with the Penguins, so he's been great as well. And can't say enough good things about how all of the teams in Pittsburgh have reached out to help us.
Great. Well, I appreciate your time coming on here and talking to me. Good luck. I hope this comes back, and I see you down there on the island soon.
Well, I told you, I've got I've got your comp tickets for you and your kids for right when we come back. We will know pretty quickly here. We will know on December 16th. The 15th is the decision date. December 16th will be the day, and hopefully we're having celebrations and not tears.
Yeah, I'm teaching my son how to be a good behind the penalty box fan.
Let's go. Let's go. I'll provide the signs. We can get on the penalty box of the opposing team, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go.
All right, Coach. Thanks. Have a good one.
Thank you.